essentially the business model works with effective communication, planning, and technology to manage day to day. That's really the biggest things when you're thinking about this remote cleaning business. We're going to break down stuff further, but essentially that is the important part.
If this happens and this happens, and it happens so often, and you know what to do, and it's not going to affect you anymore. Like a 1-star review is like, okay, well, you got one, you got 500 other positive ones. All right. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the More Than a Side Hustle podcast, where we help 9-to-5ers create more impact, income, and influence outside their jobs. My name is Anthony.
And I am Janoka. Welcome back. Thank you for coming week after week after week. You know what I'm going to say? Go ahead and leave us that review, subscribe. Let us know how you're liking the podcast. You guys have been receiving it pretty well and leaving comments, so appreciate that. On YouTube is what I meant.
Definitely. Our YouTube app has been growing. So shout out to the people who watch the visuals. I know some of us drive, some of us work out, and they can't do the visual thing. But if you ever wanted to, we do a little extra on the visuals. We might take some clips of other things. And if you look at the last episode, we definitely have some clips in there. So make sure you check out the YouTube visuals. But today we're going to be talking about something very special that's near and dear to our hearts. We're going to be talking about what the heck is a remote cleaning business? What does it mean?
Dun, 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 dun.
What is the world of remote businesses? What is a remote cleaning business? And we're going to talk about that.
So I just thought of something. Last week's episode was about us closing down one business. And now this week's episode is about the best business that we've started that changed our life. So you see how life can be?
Yeah, I hope y'all paying attention to how we structure these episodes, man. So we're going to talk about what the remote cleaning business is. We're going to talk about just remote businesses in general, what the world of remote has become. So if you've ever been interested, you should definitely stay tuned. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But I had this comment from I was doing one of my coaching calls, and I had this amazing comment that I've never had before. He asked a question, and I say there hasn't been a single question that I haven't answered or cannot answer. And he asked this one question that I thought was phenomenal. And no one's ever asked this on many either coaching calls, consulting calls, or just people trying to learn more about what we do. He asked, do you make more doing the thing that you do or teaching the thing that you do? That could be a whole episode in itself, actually.
Well, you tend to care about that, and I feel like people don't care about that.
Why not?
Because I think the day and age that we live in, people sometimes don't really vet people out. And even if they do, they don't care that you had a business for 5 months or 2 years. Some people don't. I feel like you think everybody does. And I'm like, majority of the people don't. They just want to get to whatever it is that you can give them.
Well, I don't agree.
I know you don't agree. That's what I said.
Yeah. So
I said, you think that people care.
All right, so here's the thing. We're going to talk about this for a little bit. So if you are I love using the fitness example, right? And if you are able to get in shape in 3 months, right? You're brand new, you got in shape in 3 months.
Yep.
And you hit crazy results in 3 months. Am I going to come to you for the result of what you've done, or am I going to go to the person who's been doing the thing over time?
So I may not even have a comparison to go off of. Like there may not be a 3-monther and a 2-year.
Yeah.
Like there may not be. Maybe just be this is what I know. And some people are not going to say, well, it's only been 3 months for you. They're just like, oh, you got the result? We're good to go. They don't care that you may not have longevity. You may not have tested it against time. Maybe this is a fluke. You haven't been through like they don't care about those things. They just care about the results, essentially, is how I think the world that we live in, especially now.
So we're more of the microwave culture kind of forces you to just see what am I doing today, but not what I've done over the past 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 15 years.
Yeah, no. So I know a lot of times you're always like, why don't people vet out who they're going to have their coach, or why don't people do these things? And I'm like, those are things that you care about. I'm not saying no one cares about. Those are things that you care about, but I want to say majority of the people probably don't care. They just care about the result and get into it quickly.
So how can you expect longevity if the person that you're learning from has no longevity? And it's okay to be in certain seasons. And it's okay to be in certain seasons of things where it's like, I need this now. I don't care about it's like having a professor, right? You have a professor that's going to teach you through that semester and it's okay. But if you want to be in a PhD program, you don't want a substitute teacher, someone that's just done it one time. You want somebody, all right, my professor is a PhD certified. He's been doing this for 20 years. He's going to coach me and train me through my PhD program.
Right. I think that's what that is. Kind of like with the doctors. Like there's a resident and then there's a doctor that's been a full doctor for.
Who would you want doing your operations? Would you want a resident or a doctor?
Well, residents are doctors. We know this. But they still are just going through the
exactly.
The full process.
So would you want a resident or would you want a doctor operating on you for a life-changing procedure?
The doctor. But
Why
in
is
this
that?
culture of getting information, people aren't comparing it in that way. Should they? Maybe.
Actually, that's the
Maybe
comparison
they
we
should
need.
compare it in that way.
That's the comparison we
but
need.
not everybody's doing that because they don't need a quick result when it comes to surgery. I need you to do this right and do it right. People think like, I don't know what people think about businesses. They think it's a quick thing. We speak to people.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, how do I get to this? And how much time I got to put here? And it's like, I'm telling you from now, Amazon and Target wasn't talking like that when they were starting.
Absolutely not.
So just the culture that we live in, people are just trying to get things quickly and not really understanding.
The microwave popcorn.
Yes, even if this is not a brick and mortar, maybe you'll take it a bit more seriously. But this still is a business that you have to build and put work in, regardless of what you see or what you think. That's the key thing too.
So I stopped the conversation and I clapped my hand and I literally said, listen, that has been the best question that I've ever received on these calls, because most of the questions are around how fast can I make my money, or when can I see a return, or how many hours I got to put in. And it's like, all right, you don't have the right mindset to even do this, which is fine, which is what I spend most of my time talking people out of business. I spend most of my time telling people this is not for you. And I want people to feel like that. I want them to feel like Anthony's not talking me into anything that I am not ready for. I'd rather them prove me wrong than to prove me right. It's like, damn, Anthony was right. And I like being right a lot, actually.
Most people are not ready.
But I'd rather
for
be
it,
wrong.
I think people just say like, yeah, I want to do this thing, but the work that you put in is what makes the difference.
But yeah, to answer his question, you should always, and I'll always say, what was the person doing before the thing you found them for, before the thing that they were known for? And one of the highlights and one of the best things about social media is that you can scroll back to someone's past. You can see who they were and what they were doing 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago.
If you care that much.
If you care that much, if you found somebody on social media and you were thinking about working with them long term or even short term, 30, 60, 90 days or a year, what were they doing before the thing that they were teaching you, right? So for us, you can go back to 2017, 2016, and you can see us talking about debt freedom, financial freedom, marriage, managing money, going through our journey to get out of debt. And that's very important when you're going to be working with somebody to find out what they were doing before the thing. Because if I'm talking about, if one day I'm talking about credit repair and today I'm talking about a cleaning business, it's like what should I know you for?
Sometimes you got to pivot though. You got to make a change at some point though. There's going to be a blurry line for a bit if that's what's happening for you.
Yeah, but the pivot is not going from credit repair to cleaning business. The pivot is going from maybe I'm doing credit repair and then maybe I'm doing, I don't even want to talk about credit repair because I hate that topic, number one. I absolutely hate the credit repair topic. I hate hearing about it. I hate talking about it. That's one of those things that
what you gonna say? Pay the debt, repair your credit. Done.
And then my man Henry Washington had this amazing clip on social media. And here's the clip. I'm gonna tell you guys. He said, "I'm gonna tell you guys what the hack is to getting your credit in order to have the best credit score. Here's a hack." He was like, "Listen in, zoom in, pay your damn bills." And that's the credit repair hack. I don't even know how I got to credit repair, but we're going to talk about the world of remote cleaning businesses, what it is. We're going to dive into that. You ready?
I am ready. This is going to be a great conversation. Obviously, if you don't know, we own a cleaning business down here in Dallas, Texas. We've owned it for November's going to be 6 years? 2023? 6.
7 years.
How? We started in 2017.
7 years.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out.
No, go
17 to
ahead.
18, 18 to 19, 19 to 20, 20 to 21, 21 to 22, 22 to 23. 6.
I don't know if your math is
Oh
right.
my God, 2017 to okay. Anyway,
I gotta
we
pull out
have a remote cleaning business down here in Dallas, Texas, for the past
6 years.
6 years in November.
Like, why's that math off?
We've been teaching people for the past 3 years on how to get their cleaning business up and running as well, and we also have a course. I was waiting for the commercial for you.
Yeah, that's not a commercial right now. We ain't gonna talk about that right now.
No, but anyways, we've taught tons of people. We have people in 42 states, so we have the right to, we have students, in 42 states. So we have the right to talk about this in detail and go further into what this is.
And our students have done over $10 million. Like Janoka said, they've opened up businesses in 42 plus states, and they've done 50,000 cleanings. So we have a little bit of testimony. We have a little bit of results, like Janoka said. We're going to talk about Cleaning Business University at the end. But we didn't understand the concept of what this remote world was, right? When we started this business in 2017, it was just us having a business where we didn't have to clean houses.
Yeah.
And the remote term has been so huge over the last, we're going to talk about the stats, 3 years. It said, okay, we have a remote cleaning business. So we just took the hot term and just put it in front of the cleaning business. That's essentially what it was back then in 2017, but there wasn't this huge upsurge of the word remote. So we've seen this explosion over the last 3 years, and we looked up, literally, if you go to googletrends.com, literally trends.google.com, and you want to look up the history of a word, you can look up the phrase of remote work, remote business. And in 2020 of March to April of 2020, 1 month, the word remote and the word work business has tripled. Like literally, it went from 30 results a day for like remote work and remote business to 90 results in 1 day, which is absolutely insane. And the interesting one is that the remote job, literally the word remote job, didn't go crazy on Google Trends until January of 2022.
That was just last year.
Yeah, so it literally...
Job said they going back in or they're not.
So people started saying, all right, I want to look for a remote job because that's when pandemic's over. People are going back into the office. So people start looking up the word remote job. In 2022 of January, it went from 25 searches a day to almost 100 searches a day. So the term remote job, remote work, remote business has been more than quadrupled over the last 2-3 years. So we literally took that word remote and put it in front of cleaning business. And we're going to talk about what it looks like and what it entails too.
Yeah, so remote cleaning business, what does that even mean? So essentially it means that you're offering cleaning services without being there. As we've always said before we put remote in front of it was we have a cleaning business where we do not do the cleaning. And people always like, how is that possible? And it's actually not science. We didn't invent it now. We didn't invent it, but I would say that we have made it pretty popular.
Yeah, definitely.
For a lot of people or people that haven't considered it, for our students, for those that are following us. And so basically we have systems, we have automations and things in place to allow us to have a remote cleaning business and run our cleaning business from anywhere in the world because we do not do any of the cleaning.
Yeah, and I definitely want to give a shout out to my man, Rohan. I got to shout him out. He literally was the one who introduced us to cleaning businesses without cleaning houses. Rohan Giltz, and absolutely amazing entrepreneur, black man, professional. He's owned multi-million dollars in businesses, and I always want to shout him out any chance I get. So he introduced us to this business model, and then we kind of did our own research and dove in, and we started teaching people, years later. So once we actually have results, we started teaching people this stuff. So when you think about remote work, you think about remote businesses, and I found this very interesting. So during the pandemic, a lot of businesses were closed. They were shut down because they didn't have people to do the work. They couldn't do it themselves. And if you guys don't know who Mr. Beast is, he is a YouTuber, an entrepreneur, and he has hundreds of millions of followers. And during the pandemic, he created something, or he I don't know if he patented it or trademarked it, but he did something called a ghost kitchen, where you pretty much leverage the tools that other people you leverage the tools that you have that other people don't. That's essentially what a ghost kitchen is.
So like I was cooking. What? Explain what the ghost kitchen is.
So a ghost kitchen is pretty much when you go on DoorDash.com, and remember they had all these new restaurants popping up?
Right.
Those weren't new restaurants popping up. Those are restaurants that were normally not on DoorDash, and they let's say like a Caribbean hole in the wall spot. They don't have a DoorDash account. They don't have anything. So they pretty much have a ghost kitchen where they are using someone else's marketing so that they can find work. So a lot of like burger shops that popped up, a lot of ice cream shops. These are just mom and pop shops just putting their information out there so that when you ordered from like, let's say Ben and Jerry's, sometimes you wasn't getting Ben and Jerry's. You were getting like the local mom and pop shops. So essentially they were using those for ghost kitchen because they couldn't fulfill the work.
Got it.
They had so much work that they had to outsource to other people. So like you ordered a pizza and it wasn't like Domino's is too big. But if you ordered something online and they had too much overflow, they were outsourced it to like a ghost kitchen.
Got it.
So that was like huge. So Mr. Beast, he started using ghost kitchens during the pandemic where he had these Beast burgers, right? And you would go to whatever his website is, you would order this Beast burger, but you're not getting a burger specifically from him.
You're just getting it from whoever is selling it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they have the service and he's marketing the service.
Got it.
That is a remote kitchen, essentially. And so Mr. Beast doesn't have to go out and do the burgers and make them. Right. He's marketing it for other people.
So it becomes a win for us, essentially, because you can still maintain and do other things or things that you would like to do, right? So we still maintain our 9 to 5. We still were able to be doing other things to help us pay off debt, because that's kind of the reason why we started this business. So it allowed us freedom to have a business, but not necessarily be out in the field. Do I need to spend time on it? Absolutely. But I'm still not out there actually cleaning. So while somebody else is cleaning and it's our business, we can still run things on the back end. So we still have that time and freedom to do it from anywhere as well.
So you're creating a win-win-win for everyone. So I'll explain this. So like you just said, you could still work your 9 to 5 and you can make money from this business, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're working with like using the Mr. Beast example where like it's winning for him because he's making money. It's winning for the client because they're getting their food and they probably wouldn't have normally got because they wouldn't have been able to find that shop. In that little shop who has no marketing, no advertisement, they're working with Mr. Beast. Now they're getting customers they would not normally have had. Mm-hmm. So it's a win for him. It's a win for the mom and pop shop, and it's also a win for a client. So that's how it's like literally a win-win-win for everyone in a situation like this. Because people always say, well, aren't you taking advantage of the people on the other side? And it's like, well, okay.
That comment is always stupid. Like, what is something somebody said? I'm like, listen, we're not taking advantage because people want to be here, right? They want to do the work. We work as partners. And then also, they probably are bringing in more of our hourly rate than you, to be quite honest. They get paid really well. I have a master's and some of their hourly rate can pass mine at times. So they get paid really well. So when people write those comments, I'm like, that's a misconception that people have. And that says more about you, like what you're thinking about how we're running it and the people that we're working with, because it's absolutely not the case. So,
yeah. So it creates a win-win-win for everyone. So normally, if you think about the way marketing works, there's three parts of this story. There's us, there's the clients, and then there's the cleaning partners.
Right.
So normally the actual person who needs the cleaning done, they would normally never come across that person ever, because that person doesn't have a digital presence. They don't have any online, no marketing, no branding.
Unless they go by word of mouth as usual.
Unless they find them by word of mouth some way, shape, or form. So those two people would never ever match up with each other. Mm-hmm. So there would never be a time where the cleaning partner could find that person, and vice versa. So there's mom and pop shops out there who are doing excellent work, but they don't have any of the digital presence to actually connect with the person.
Or they just don't even know to be digital or like to do any of that stuff. They just know that they clean well. So it's like head down, I know what I'm doing, and that's it. And that's what we find. And that's people that we partner with because they're like, oh, well, yeah, I have my clientele, but I can always do more. And I can't really expand as quickly or as much as I would like to because word of mouth can go but so far.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. But you can start there probably, yeah. But how do I go past that ceiling?
Getting into more work. That's another big win for them as well. It's like when you're working with these partners, like I'm going to keep using the Mr. Beast example because that ghost kitchen, I think is perfect because that mom and pop shop would never get more clients. They're at the point where like, I need more clients. And if you could give me those more clients, I don't mind giving you a percentage of that, however you decide to do that.
It's like the show we're watching, The Bear.
What?
The show we're watching, The Bear. The show we started last night.
What happened?
They need more clients. The restaurant.
Oh,
I'm like, are you watching it with me?
So quick note. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys have watched it because it's been a few weeks that people
maybe
have
they
raving
haven't
about it.
No.
But if you're a TV person, I guess you watch it. It's on Hulu. Hulu is called The Bear. We're only 3 episodes in, so we haven't.
It's called
seen
The
a
Bear.
Lot. Yeah.
You kind of like The Bear. I'm like, what?
Sorry. The Bear. We're only 3
like
episodes
the animal
in.
bear.
Yeah, but essentially it's that type of thing. A brother passed away, so our brother came back. He's a well-renowned chef. That's what we've gathered so far. And he's trying to bring the business back. And it's a little mom and pop shop in Chicago. And he's really trying to bring the business back. So if he had, a girl comes to work there and she gives the example, like, if we were using DoorDash, if we were using some of these things, we can bring in more money. We can get more exposure. So that's exactly what a contractor will operate as. Like, we have this. We know our food is good. I know I clean well, but I only have my regulars coming in. But how often the regulars ain't paying the bills at this point. So
with that example, using the Bear, like you mentioned, they have the restaurant. They just don't have the clients and they don't have the systems. They don't have the customer service. Yeah. They just got a C on their door. So it's like they don't know how to figure out that part. And it's like, if I could just focus on this one thing, I can't focus on the customers. I can't focus on the acquisition. I can't focus on the marketing. If I could just focus on the food, which is what he's good at, he's like, everything else should work. Yeah. He doesn't have that. Right. So that's exactly how it works. So how does it work? So in this remote cleaning business model, we use technology and scheduling, communication, and we do that. We also use that via quality control. This is a very technological business, meaning it's online.
It's more of a marketing business.
more of a marketing business, advertisement. It's online.
Yeah.
So you're doing the marketing, you're doing the advertisement, you're doing the customer acquisition, you're doing the communication. Everything is online. There's no need for you as the owner to physically be face to face with anyone.
Right. Because I know some people say, well, then the biggest thing is like, oh, how do you price and things like that? Those are stuff that you're able to find out through technology of like looking at other pages and stuff like that to get an idea of what something of this size would be. Like, I don't need to step in the home to figure that out. At this point in 2023, a 3,000 square foot is a 3,000 square foot. We know that that doesn't change, right? And so, 3,000 is 3,000. So what do you want to price yourself based off of that? So that's the reason why we say technology and different things allow us not to have to go into a home just to look around and say, okay, yeah, this is what I will charge. And, you know, clients, they give information as well. They can tell you also, this is what I have here. This is what I need. And so that's another way that you can price yourself and get ahead without having to step into the home and spend time doing that as well.
And if you think about this business model, it's very similar to what Open Door became. So Open Door is pretty much a realtor company. The market was outdated. You would have to contact the realtor, schedule a time to go see the home, do this, do that. Now, all these companies created the ability for you to see the home without a realtor. Like, I can give you the code. I can change the code remotely. I don't have to physically be there. Or you could do a virtual tour. You could do a virtual consultation. So there are different things and business models that this is even applying to as you're seeing where we are today.
Do the realtors like that? Because I feel like that takes away from rapport or from me actually selling up the home to you by you just going in. Because now you're just seeing things on your own and I have no way to explain, oh, this is happening because.
So let's think about it like that. It's if a realtor is going to a home and they know the client's going to see the home, it's your job as a realtor to be reaching out, to be communicative. You could show more homes in a day. So that's another advantage there. You could do more, like for the remote cleaning business, you could do virtual consultations, you could do flat rate pricing, you could do hourly, you could do all of that online. So you're not physically having to go door to door. Hey, can I call and get a quote? Can you come see me? You could. How many quotes could you do in a day if you were physically going to every single home?
And then you get there and they say, oh no, it's okay, I don't want your price. Now what? What was that?
Gas, money,
time. That I spoke to you probably for 20 minutes. Then I drove out here, 20 minutes each way. I'm at 2 hours already. And you ain't even booked my service.
And let's say you do that 4 or 5 times a day. It's 8 hours a day. Now, how many virtual consultations can you do on the phone? You can do 15, 20, as many as that comes in. You could do those. And let's say you're closing more. So just like realtors. Well, if I got 20 clients, I shouldn't be driving all across Texas
area,
to service them. All right, I got you the code here. I got you the code here. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna follow up with you. So you're using the same type of business model across the way. So that's allowing you to quote more jobs and the speed and convenience over everything. Yeah. And people will pay more if they can have convenience. I promise you that.
Convenience is more money. That's my biggest motto. And so we also have automated scheduling. So we have a software system that allows people to get alerts, reminders like, hey, we are coming out to your home. We don't have to call them. We don't have to text them. There are systems that automatically do them that allow them to say, oh yeah, I need to reschedule. And they can go on to the website and reschedule. Or they can say, can I add on a fridge or whatever the case may be. They can do it themselves if they want. So the automated systems takes away from us needing to contact them or you saying like, well, how do I remember all the clients I have? Your CRM can allow for that basically.
Yeah, your customer relationship management, like she said, it's going to allow them to book online and pay online. That's another inconvenience that people have. I talk about my loan guy and I absolutely love what they do, but I got to literally Zelle him after every cleaning.
Yeah.
And then, after he mows the lawn and it's like, dude, just like make this automated. Like, and then he's texting me a week later, oh, yeah, you didn't pay me. I'm like, bro, like, Zelle? You serious? I don't got time for that. So I would pay more for convenience. So that just allows your clients now, okay, they're probably going to buy more because especially if a person's not using cash and they're paying with their credit card or debit card, they're using their mind. And more than likely, you are going to overindulge over what you don't need. If I don't have to pay you cash. So
cash definitely stings more.
Yeah, so I might add the fridge. I might add the oven. I'm like,
how much is this meal? Like, this meal is quick.
Yeah, we slow down on vacation. Like, boop. Yeah, you slow down when you got to use your cash because it's physically in your hands. So you're giving clients that ability to book online and pay online, which is absolutely huge for convenience. So,
and then even just with communication, once again, we have our CRMs and obviously technology with our cell phones are ways that you can communicate with people and find out what's going on, see if there's any issues. It still doesn't require you to physically be there. So we've had, and the only reason I say that is because I know we come across people that that been cleaning for years. And they're like,
Decades.
Years, decades. And they're like, there's no way that this works. And I'm like, okay, well, it does. It does work for us. Maybe it's not a philosophy for you, which is okay. But it can work, especially in this day and age of technology, CRM, cell phones, communication. It can work flawlessly, actually. So
yeah, and if you've been talking about like the supervision, that's the biggest thing people ask is like, all right, how do you supervise the people? And if you think about your job, you think about your 9 to 5, you think about being an owner. And I always ask this question: listen to me, guys, right now. Listen to me. You work at a company, or if you have a 9 to 5, like we do or we did, you have a CEO. Has a CEO ever came from their office to do the job that you're doing? Have they ever sat in your seat to do the job that you're doing right now? If you called out today, would they leave their office and then come sit in your seat and take those calls, book those appointments, flip those burgers, like whatever you're doing? Will they come and do that?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So when you think about having that CEO mindset, your first thing you're thinking about is, I got to go do the work. Absolutely not. If the work has to get done, they're going to find a way for somebody else to do it, or hey, we can't do it today. As simple as that. So you're doing these type of things, and you're monitoring the supervision by the people that are doing it, and your clients are going to be the most important checkup that you're going to do to find out if things went well and things went bad. And even at my job, it was like, we didn't find out things went bad until the client told us.
Always. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that because that's a good one. But essentially, the business model works with effective communication, planning, and technology to manage day to day. That's really the biggest things when you're thinking about this remote cleaning business. We're gonna break down stuff further, but essentially, that is the important part. If we don't have our CRM working, then clients aren't getting reminders, then contractors may not know where to go, then how are we going to charge them, which is all a big issue. If someone's not communicating with us, that's the issue. That there's something happening, that's another issue. So those are big things that we essentially rely on for the day-to-day when it comes to it.
And we're going to talk about like the challenges and limitations, because
that's what y'all think about.
Because some of y'all, some people
are negative Nancy's,
are always going to think about worst case scenario. And even when we started, we were thinking about worst case scenario. What happens if somebody did this? And you're not, and I always say,
but is that really the worst case?
It is not the worst case.
That's the thing. What you think is the worst case is probably not.
Because once it was like, all right, well, worst case, somebody doesn't show up. You deal with that a few times, and you create a process and procedure around it. So that if this happens, then this happens. Or what happens if something goes wrong? If this happens, then this happens. And it happens so often, and you know what to do, and it's not going to affect you anymore. Like a 1-star review is like, okay, well, you got one. You got 500 other positive ones.
You know, and what I tell people is like, if that's your worry about it, it's going to happen. So don't start this business. That's what I say. If you're worried about getting a bad review, if you're worried about somebody not showing up, it will happen. It may not happen in year 1. It may not happen on day 1, but it will happen. I mean, for us, our first clean, luckily she told us the night before, but our first clean, person said they couldn't make it. We're like, okay, right?
Yeah.
What do we do? This is our first business ever. First business ever. Because I feel like if you have a business, you kind of know to pivot. First business ever, first cleaning, and we're like, what are we gonna do now? So it happens. But go ahead.
But there are things that you use to mitigate your risks. So. We tell people to start with more than one person. We start with one person.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we tell people all the time, don't just start with one person. They still do it. Because what happens then?
They get eager.
You got 2 people, you could say, all right, you like using your common sense. If someone can't do something, what are you going to do? Are you going to go out and do it yourself? Or are you going to call them, explain to them the situation, and say, hey, I got somebody else that'll be there tomorrow? Most reasonable people and humans,
keyword reasonable.
They will say, all right, cool, send them out tomorrow.
Yeah, you may offer some money off or something like that.
Crisis resolved. Your worst case scenario, your worst fear happened, and look how you resolved it. That's it. So we're going to talk about, like I said, navigating challenges. So if you like, we're going to talk about the people who probably shouldn't do this, or just things to think about too, because if you have never heard of, if this is your first business and you want to be the type of person who likes control over every little detail, this is not it. Not even a CEO of your company has control over every detail.
That's why they hire you. They assume that you are taking care of the details. And they are taking care of other things.
I work for a company, and I always say, like, the CEO of the company didn't know the job that I did. Like, I can't...
You can't say that enough.
I can't say that enough. He did not ever come down and sit in my seat. And that's just how you run a business.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it like that, that's how business should be ran.
The CEO definitely. I mean, my company is way bigger than yours. He definitely doesn't know what I do, how if I exist, what if anything is what's going on. He has people under that to handle that. So you take care of the details, right? But like you said, if you are someone that is definitely like, well, I need to be the one to put eyes on everything. Like no one does it better than me. Then
you'll never grow.
Yeah, you'll never grow, and yeah, you're gonna keep doing your business. Either don't start this business, or if you're cleaning already, you keep doing it on your own. But like with anything, we always say, how can you grow if you're the only one doing it? Like, it's just not possible. You have to go on vacation. You got to take breaks. If you have kids, you have family, you get tired. This is a very physical job. Like, how is it possible that you grow and you're the only one doing the job? It's not. You don't. That's what I'm gonna say. You don't grow.
That's a bar. That needs to be a clip right there. That needs to be the highlight because
don't grow.
That is definitely true. I was speaking to this lady and she's been in the business for 25 years. And imagine, she's been in the business 25 years. I'm only 37. She's been in this business more than half of my life.
What this young boy got to say to me about my business?
And then by the end of that call, I said, ma'am, I was like, I knew where the call was going. So we was about 10 minutes in and I said, ma'am, I understand where you're coming from. And I'm here to tell you that I won't be able to change your mind by the end of this conversation. And that's not going to be my goal to change your mind. My goal is to tell you there's another way to do it. And I'm not saying it's a better way, but I'm saying it's another way to do it. And if you're not open to learning that better way, I can't help you on this one call. And maybe 2 calls, 3 calls won't be able to help you. And she said, Anthony, you're right. He's like, I'm stuck and I'm don't know how to get out of it. But you have now not even opened my mind up to this business model, but you told me to think another way.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the best I could do on this call. And I was like, to help you think another way. She's like, I haven't taken a vacation in 15 years.
Sure.
She's like, I'm stuck. I'm not making money.
Because if you're not doing it, you're not making money. Exactly. If you take a break, you ain't making money.
If I go on vacation, I can't go on vacation because I can't lose that money. That means I can't pay my bills. So I'm stuck doing this every single. And it's literally a race on a hamster wheel. Because once you go off that hamster wheel and that thing don't keep spinning, you stuck.
Now what?
So by the end of that call, I was like, ma'am, I wish I could have helped you more. She's like, no, you actually did change the way I think about just what I need to do. It may not happen.
but thank you.
She said, but thank you. That's one of the challenges with it.
Another challenge we would say is if you don't like people, this business model is not for you. And honestly, business is not for you. Unless you become the CEO right away, you don't deal with people at all, but you still have to deal with someone. But this is it's a service-based business. So you're servicing people. Yeah, and
you better go buy some stocks.
You're going to meet people. What, me?
No, not you, stocks. Sorry, I'll talk about it after.
Okay. You're going to meet people that are respectable, some people that are nasty, some people are that are crazy. You're going to meet a lot of different people. And at the same time, it's your business. So regardless of what, you have to maintain a professional tone in your responses to them and how you speak to people. Regardless, the person can be completely wrong. And I'm not of the mindset that the client is always right, but you still have to respond in a respectable, professional way. So if that is something you have difficulty with, get a business partner, get somebody else to do it, or just don't even do business, because I think almost every business deals with people. Depending on the business may not be as much, but a service-based business, definitely. The people are the heart of your business, essentially. So
the more people you could reach, the more people you could teach, the more people you could impact, the more your business is going to grow. So like I was on another call lady today and she's like, Anthony, I don't know if you know me, I'm West Indian and the way I come off may not be right for everyone. And I was like, you're absolutely right, because I was ready to hang up this call as soon as we got on.
But the funny thing is that you've been around Caribbean people your whole life. You still don't learn the way they do.
And she wasn't rude or condescending or anything. And I understand. I said, I understand what you're saying. But I said, if you really want to get to where you want to be, like not just this business, in life, you said you've been cleaning for 10 years and you want to get out this business, but you can't. It's a side hustle. This is a long ass side hustle. I was like, 10 years is a long ass time to have a side hustle.
That's true.
And you still feel like it's not getting anywhere. That means you're either not taking it seriously or you're just not giving it effort, which is essentially the same thing. It sounds like you're BSing it. But she said, Anthony, I don't like people. I was like, but you're cleaning people's homes. Like, so what are you doing here?
What?
I was like, in order for you to get to your next level, and if you did whatever goals you have, think about the biggest goal you have. She's like, I want to travel the world. I want to create generational wealth for my kids. I was like, you're gonna hold that back because you don't like talking to people? I was like, you think I want to be sitting here talking to you?
What?
I said, you think I want to be sitting here talking to you? I got my daughter playing with her brand new kitchen that I just built. You don't think I'd rather be playing with my daughter right now? And she's like, wow. I was like, yeah, I would rather be playing with my daughter right now because I'm sitting here trying to help you change your mindset. And you sitting here giving me excuses where I could be playing with my daughter. But I know I could help your life. I know that this information could at least change your mindset. So I'm here to help you and impact you. But I damn sure don't want to be in this culture. But there are things we got to do to get to our goals.
Not for people that's being hard-headed.
I was like, there are things we got to do that are uncomfortable to get to our goals. And if that means I got to talk to a few people that are yelling at me on the other line for me to make thousands of dollars a month, hey, if I got to sit there with a person that feels like, you know, they're wasting their time and I got something that can help them, hey, I'm going to do it. Most people aren't willing to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's challenges, but I find that the challenges in this business is not challenges that you don't face in other businesses. Like, I don't know that it's so specific.
It's not.
To just the remote cleaning business. And that's what we tell people. We're like, oh, it's finding good people are hard, but finding good people are hard everywhere. If you look at your job, I'm sure there's people, coworkers that you're like, I don't know how this person got the job, or I'm still working with them. And everywhere you go, you go to places, you go to Target, you go to Macy's, and you're like, why this person here? Because they are nasty, right? So everywhere you go, it's hard to find good people. Everywhere you go, you can't control everything. Everywhere you go, you may have the issue of just people in general. So I don't know that the issues are specific to here, but it is still a concern, basically.
Like another one, like we mentioned, quality assurance. Like, how do you manage the quality? And that one is your clients will be your biggest providers of feedback. Like I mentioned this earlier, like even at my job, we didn't know things went terribly wrong until the client called us. So you're going to be extra diligent on the communication, especially since your business is remote. You have to find a way to over communicate.
Yeah.
You have to have your presence felt. You have to make the clients feel and believe that you are right there with them. You have to make them believe that you are on their side immediately. You're calling them after every cleaning. You're calling them after every job. You're making sure things are showing up. Like, you're being over communicative since you're not physically being there. You're not micromanage them until you feel comfortable enough to take a layer back and take a step back. So they're going to be your providers of feedback. They're going to provide you things you need. And even with your hiring and vetting process, it's going to be very similar to that. Like your 9 to 5 with your manager and your boss, your job interview, all right, after your job interview, we're going to assume that you could do the job. We're going to assume that you're going to do what you're supposed to be doing because I'm paying you to do the task. But at the end of the day, you can't control 100% of the things that are being done.
Yeah, but I think it's a lot of touch points. You know, like when people started working from home, then they started having more Zoom meetings, right? They started having more like, well, I need you to say something in Teams. Like your Skype, it needs to be moving, right? They started having more of those because there's no longer eyes on you. So like he said, for our clients, it's like they have the touch point of one, maybe booking the service with us. Then they get a reminder 3 days before we come out. Then they get a reminder a day before we come out.
Sometimes they get a call before we come out.
Sometimes they get a call. Maybe if we're running a little behind, we're definitely calling.
And texting.
Then we do the job. Then we call them after the job. Then they get an email. How do we do? So there's a lot of touch points that happen even though we aren't physically there, but we're still checking in and having that open communication and making sure that they know that just because we ain't there don't mean that we don't care, that we're not interested to hear and make sure that you had a satisfactory cleaning.
But then on another thing, going back to the CEO, no one expects the CEO to come clean their homes.
No.
So why do they expect you as a CEO, as a business owner, to come and do it? So just think about those touch points, like being over communicative.
And even then, sometimes that doesn't work for some people, but yeah.
So those are some of the challenges and strategies, like she said, like over communication is going to be key. And I think not even just in this business, in any business, you want to over communicate with the people you're working with.
And that tends to be successful for us, right? Most of the time, not all the time, of course, but that tends to be successful for us, like reaching out right after every clean to see how it was, or if they're a reoccurring client, see how things are going. Just want to make sure all is well. So that is helpful, and we try to encourage that for everyone. Just keep that communication line open.
Yeah, since we just touched on communication, we'll go to talk about trust and credibility.
Okay.
So like building trust and credibility in this business is going to be huge. Social proof is huge. If you guys sit there and Google us, Anthony and Janoka Hards, like, you're going to see a bunch of social proof being on podcasts, being on different networks, being on Money, CNBC, ABC, Dallas News, whatever it is. You're going to see a lot of things about us. And that's your social proof. When people look you up, they want to say, all right, who has had an experience with this person or this person's or these persons or this company? And what was their experience? So building social proof, especially in this business, is going to be huge. You're going to be reaching out to people, making sure you're getting reviews, positive, over communicating. So even if things go wrong, you can catch it before the person decides to leave you negative social proof. So that's going to be your goal, especially. This is why you can compete in a market, because you're getting as much social proof as possible, especially when you start. So people can say, okay, well, I feel more comfortable paying these people $500 at midnight without even talking to them or even hearing from them or even knowing who they are, by having that social proof. So that's going to be
But
huge.
I also think your credibility is built also by the website, right? You know, your website looks professional, has all the information that I may need. It also has a contact information. I can also pay on here. In this day and age, that's what we look for when we're looking at different businesses, right? Can I pay? Do I got to call somebody? Can I get all the information? You know, that type of stuff is what you look for. So I think that also builds credibility for people, because they can get all the information from the website. Yes, people still call, but all information is there. Their pricing, the details of what would include or what it wouldn't. So that is another way that we build credibility.
We both had problems saying
Did
that
I say
word.
that? Did I say it right? Yeah. That's the way we build it with
They're
our
gonna
remote
talk
cleaning
about
business.
you in the comments somewhere.
And I don't care.
Well, if they listen to this point, then leave us a 5-star review. How about that?
How about
leave
that?
us a like.
And that's the way we do it with the remote cleaning business. So.
But then even with just your digital presence, your online presentation is just as important if you had a physical location. So
it's everything.
It's everything. So your digital presence being remote, your physical presence is your digital presence. It makes it extra important, extra crucial. This one lady was like, "Oh, I got my website done for free by my cousin or something." I'm like, "It looks like it. Like this is absolutely
If
horrible."
I was a client going on here, I'm not booking.
So think about the perception that you're giving your clients just based on your digital presence, which is going to be part of the battle from the very beginning. Before they even talk to you, they're going to see you. So being remote, that's going to be extra crucial. And I think about when we went to that daycare with Alani, and we walked in, and before we did anything, this was a horrible experience. I was like, "Why the hell did you bring me here?" It was unorganized at the front door.
The thing about it is their reviews did not say that, and that's the part that's really scary.
But for us walking in, it was a physical presence. It was like, all right, this is out of order. Your front desk is messed up. You
like, who are you? Like
the hallway. They wasn't ready for us for our service, and it was like, wait, what the heck is going on here? So this is why your first impression is going to be huge, especially in a remote business. So, and then your testimonials and your feedback as proof as your service. So the more feedback, the more social proof you have, the better your service. You start automating, you start changing the process and procedures, the more you could do and the more people you could service.
Yeah, because no one wants to book someone that doesn't have any, reviews and things like that. So,
want to talk about like the future, what this look like?
The future of it? Sure. What do I think the future of it is? I think it continues to grow. So, like we said, we didn't invent the remote cleaning business. We heard it from someone and we got information. However, the models were always out there for a while now, right? So Uber and Airbnb is essentially the same way. Thumbtack and Angie's Leads, all these things do the same thing for service-based businesses. Handy, but they do it just for all service bases, not just for cleaning businesses. So I think that it continues to grow because more people don't want to be locked into one area. So more people don't want to go into the office. Now that people gotten the taste and people are like, I can still do my job, then why do I need to be there? And that flexibility, more people are looking for different things. And I think that this continues to grow.
And if you think about, like you said, the business model itself, Amazon is the world's largest provider of other people's goods. Like literally, Amazon, and then the small mom and pop shop who has a good, and the person who needs that good, Amazon matches the two. Amazon is a remote business for service providers or even just products in general. Right. They're the world's largest provider of other people's goods. Now they have their own products and services and stuff like that. But most of their products are from, warehouses, wholesaling, mom and pops, distributors, and they're the world's largest platform for that. Yeah. So this business model is not going anywhere, especially in 2023 and beyond. So this is why I recommend anyone even thinking about getting into something like this or even this remote cleaning business, make sure you check out Cleaning Business University, where we teach you how to start and scale your own remote cleaning business without cleaning houses. So we talked about a few things today. Anything else you want to go over?
Yeah, no, I was going to say also, I think that it can, you can stay competitive with this business because many people say, well, is there too many cleaning businesses? Like you're teaching a lot of people. And I'm like, okay, so let's just talk about Dallas. Okay. Maybe there's 4 million people here. I don't friggin' know. There probably is 20 cleaning businesses. Let's go with that. And 20 probably is a high end. 20 is probably the high end that you probably can book online or people would want to utilize. There's always going to be more people than companies. So you can remain competitive in that alone. in that alone. But however, you can always do other things and add-ons for yourself that, you know, for your business that may stand out, or that you find out that your clientele likes or wants more from you. So it is a competitive business in that regard, that there's going to be more people.
Hold on.
What happened?
I'm about to send this guy a voice note right now.
No, not during the podcast.
I'm going to do this during the podcast because he literally just sent us a DM that said, first cleaning in the books today, another schedule next Tuesday. I have 5 reviews on Yelp. I'm about to get 10 more ad pictures and start paid marketing. This is super dope. I'm reading you live on our podcast because we're recording right now.
Well, when did he start? Like, what details do you have?
He went from Wednesday to Friday. I told him he's an action taker.
Oh, okay.
Literally, I'm reading you live on the podcast, Brian. So shout outs to you, man.
Okay.
but this is super dope because when you talk about competition in the market, right? Everybody's not going to be Brian. Everybody's not going to be like him. He said
he doesn't care about the competition.
He's went from Wednesday to Friday. He's like, I'm about to get Cleaning Business University on Wednesday. Friday he came back and just said, also, I just purchased a course. If I need extra help, I'll come through and ask you guys. This is Friday. And then he came back Wednesday, and he said Monday I started interviewing people. I'm starting my hiring process. My website is done on Wednesday, so from Friday to Wednesday, and then from Wednesday to today.
Shout out to our partners with the website because they be turning that over in a day or two.
He went from Monday hiring, Wednesday his first cleaning, and today his first cleans in the books. That's a record actually. Less than 2 weeks he did this. So shout out to him, man, because he is an action taker, and everyone's not going to have that level of action. But I needed to share that while he sent that DM while I was checking Instagram, which I don't know why I was doing, but
yeah, exactly. So that was, we wanted to share some of the successes of the cleaning business. So that's a big success, and we always do interviews and testimonies of our students, but just for ourselves, I think that it has allowed us, one, to change the mindset. The cleaning business, the remote cleaning business was our first business ever. But it opened the door for us to do more, to start to receive more, and that we're like listening to other podcasts, listen to other things. Like, how do we make this continue to grow? How do we change our life, our trajectory? It's allowed us to travel a lot more. It's allowed Anthony to quit his job. It has literally changed the trajectory of our lives. And then for us to then teach it to others, to our students, and show people what's possible and how they can utilize this tool however they feel. Like for us, it was to get out of debt, and now it's become so much more than that and bigger than that, and we will continue to grow it. So it has been very successful. Has there been lessons? Absolutely. Is it a lesson that requires us to shut down our business? No. Right? Has it been lessons lessons of people calling out or lessons of bad reviews? But it still has been something that you kind of roll with it. With any business, that's what we try to tell people. Like any business, you're going to have issues. You're going to have to pivot or figure it out. That's it. So it has been extremely crucial and helpful for us in our life.
Yeah, man, we've done almost $2 million in our cleaning business, and we are on track to do like $500,000-$600,000 a year for the next couple years at least, right? So we decide, all right, next steps. What does this business look like for us, right? So when you think about the way it's changed our lives, and like I said, our students have done over $10 million. So I think we have some substance to talk about in this realm. Now, again, like I said, I gave my man Rohan a shout out, so I always show respect where it's due, and he's done tremendous things for us in our community and just sharing this business model with us over 7 years ago at this point. But I want you guys to just think about this, right? This business model is not going anywhere. No matter, even if this stops the cleaning business, it's going to be other things. We got the Ubers, the Amazon, the Airbnbs, the Turos. That's exactly what Turo is. It's a peer-to-peer car rental platform. You just reminded me that literally any kind of, not any, but a lot of service-based business can be ran the same way. When we first started our course, it was called... what would we call it? It's something about service-based businesses. How to get your service-based business up and running. How to start a local service business.
How to start a local service business was the name of it, because yes, we focus on cleaning business, but you can do this with lawn. You can do this with garbage cleaning. You can do this as a hairstylist. You can do any of that stuff.
Mobile detailing.
When you start to hire people, you can do it at any level of it. It's a service-based business. So this is going to be around.
Tutoring. Somebody was
Tutoring,
literally
daycare.
started tutoring. They said, I took your course, Cleaning Business University, and I decided to open up a tutoring service because I was already tutoring. And I was like, that's absolutely genius.
Yep.
Remote tutoring service. As long as you show up and you
Show
get the
up on
job
a computer.
done.
What are we doing? 30 minutes after school.
Listen, y'all, we
anyway.
appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of the More Than a Side Hustle podcast. Was there anything else you wanted to share?
No, I'm good.
We are out of here. Make sure you tap in. If you want to learn more about Cleaning Business University, where we teach you how to start and scale a 6 or 7 figure cleaning business, remote cleaning business without cleaning any houses, check that out. We got tons of resources on our page, on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever you're watching this or listening to this. We are the Heart Zugs, and we are out.
Thank you. Come back again next week.
Peace. And leave us a 5-star review if you thought it was a good episode, y'all.
Bye.